can't afford to ignore this. Donald Trump is now openly calling for Republicans to steal power from the states and, in his words, take over the elections. But yesterday, he called in to the Dan Bongino show, and he said, "Look, I took over a border with 25 million people came into our country, many of them murderers. If we don't get them out, Republicans will never win another election. These people were brought to our country to vote, and they vote illegally. And amazing that the Republicans are tougher on it. The Republicans should say, we want to take over. We should take over the voting, and at least many 15 places, the Republicans ought to nationalize the voting. Now I know I kind of just hit you in the face with that clip. I want to say welcome back to the Philip DeFranco Show. It is Tuesday, February 30th. Welcome back to another daily dive into the news. But that clip, it's crazy. First of all, though, the Constitution gives states broad discretion to determine how they run their elections, not the federal government. Second of all, 25 million undocumented. That's just a lie.
We don't have great data past 2023, but Pew estimates that around 3.5 million had come in by that point, putting the total population at around 14 million. And third of all, non-citizens do not vote, like putting aside the few extremely rare edge cases that are so negligible that you can basically just say, non-citizens don't vote. In fact, Trump's own administration's probe into supposed voter fraud has so far turned up virtually nothing. Purportedly, he had his DHS check. Nearly 50 million voter registrations, and only about 10,000 or 0.02% were referred for further investigation of non-citizenship. And even assuming that that number is accurate, which it may not be, since officials say that, some people were mistakenly flagged. That's only registered voters. It says nothing about how many actually voted.
Of course, yeah.
None of this is new. Election integrity has never been in doubt, and the people he spurred into his delusional fantasy world. And so it seems like everyone with a shred of sanity left to care about honesty over loyalty. They're looking toward the midterms this year and just chewing their fingernails off. Right? As far as the 15 places or states where Trump says that he wants to take over voting, he didn't name them, but he mentioned a couple later on, including Minnesota. It's a mess. There's something in the water up there in the love of the state. I won the state 3 times, but I got no credit for it. I won that state 3 times, but it's a rigged state. Really rigged badly with the Somalians, and the theft. Also, you had him talking about Georgia, where Trump's FBI seized truckloads of 2020 ballots, voter rolls, and scanner images from Fulton County last week. Now, you're going to see something in Georgia where they were able to get, with a court order, the ballots. You're going to see some interesting things. Got that? Yeah. Trump is right that we have seen some interesting things coming out, though not what he's thinking. Instead, I'm talking about how we saw, of all people, Tulsi Gabbard on site during the FBI raid. That's really weird and concerning. I mean, we still don't have a very clear answer as to why the Director of National Intelligence with zero domestic law enforcement authority would be there. Her job description does not, or rather, should not, include on-site involvement in criminal investigative work. When lawmakers they pressed her about it, she replied in the letter yesterday that it does actually fall under her purview, because intelligence suggests election systems are vulnerable to foreign interference. But that also still doesn't explain why she attended a different agency's raid in Fulton County in particular. In fact, she admitted that she hadn't even seen the search warrant there.
Right.
And Gabbard actually added that she was there because Trump personally asked her to be. And as far as why Trump made that request, one source told the Times that he wanted her to assist with the FBI's investigation.